Welcome to The Art of Outsmart. Today's video will delve into the world of No Game No Life to explore the remarkable figure of Riku Dola, one of the most intelligent and strategic characters in anime. Who is Riku Dola, and what are his notable strengths? How could he, as a mere human, put an end to a war involving 16 races in the magical world of Discord? Riku Dola, a charismatic leader and brilliant strategist, stands as an example of courage, determination, and compassion. Throughout this video, we will unravel 6 strategies of the mastermind behind this exceptional character and delve into his strategic skills. Beyond being just an anime character, Riku Dola is a beacon of leadership that can inspire us in the real world. So, get ready to discover a series of strategies and tactics that Riku employs in his fight for justice and equality in Discord. Without further ado, let's embark on our journey into the world of Riku Dola. Lessons from Riku Dola. 1. If you don't know someone's motives, conduct a test that challenges rival motives and observe their decision. In situations where you don't understand a person's reasons or intentions, the first step is to acknowledge your lack of information. You can't guess someone's motives with certainty. Instead of randomly guessing their motives, it's helpful to have some hypotheses or conjectures about why they are acting in a certain way. These hypotheses can be based on observations, past behavioral patterns, or any other relevant information. You should carry out a test or action that goes against the possible hypotheses about the person's motives. This is done with the intention of provoking a reaction from the person that reveals more about their true motives. After conducting the test, observe how the person reacts. Their response may provide clues about whether your initial hypotheses were correct or incorrect. The idea is that through this deliberate action, you'll gather additional information that will help you better understand the person's real motives. 2. If you know you will lose, use the result to your advantage. Riku knew he would lose in chess games against Chuvi, which led him to use it to his advantage. The fundamental premise of this strategy is that you have already assessed the situation and concluded that you will lose no matter what. It can be in a game, a negotiation, or any other competitive scenario. Instead of continuing to try to win at all costs, you decide to anticipate the loss. This means consciously accepting that you cannot change the outcome and that losing is inevitable. Rather than resigning to defeat, you seek a way to use this situation to your benefit. This could involve taking actions that allow you to gain some secondary advantage, such as obtaining valuable information, protecting your resources, or improving your position for future situations. 3. Reframe the opponent's statement premise within your own territory for a logical decision based on your criteria. Riku reframed Chuvi's heart concept in a way that made her decide based on that definition, doing what he wanted. Start by listening carefully to what your opponent has said or proposed in the context of a discussion, negotiation, or debate. Make sure you fully understand their position and arguments. Examine your opponent's statement for possible logical weaknesses, contradictions, or problematic points from your perspective. This could include logical fallacies or disputable assumptions. Then, reframe your opponent's statement in a way that addresses or minimizes the weak points. You can do this by presenting a revised version of their position that is more logical according to your criteria. This involves finding arguments or evidence that support your reinterpretation of their position. Next, present your reframed version of your opponent's position and argue in favor of it as if it were their own position. This can make it seem more reasonable and logical according to your criteria. Finally, invite your opponent to consider your reframed version of their position and discuss on that basis. This can lead to a more productive discussion and help find common ground or reach a mutually beneficial agreement. 4. Find other ways to win besides the primary one. Riku proposed a different way to win the war besides defeating the other rivals. Instead, he identified that another way to win was by forcing the Holy Grail. Identify the central challenge or problem you are facing. This could be a goal you want to achieve, an obstacle you need to overcome, or a conflict you need to resolve. Identify the main strategy or approach that would typically be used to address this challenge. This is the most obvious or conventional way to tackle the problem. Instead of limiting yourself to the main strategy, start looking for other ways to address the problem. This involves being creative and considering alternative approaches you may not have thought of before. 5. Bring the game into your territory. Riku, knowing he couldn't win a logical chess game against Chuvi, decided to shift the focus to a psychological battle. In Riku's case, he realizes that he can't win a chess game logically against Shuvi. Rather than focusing on the logical chess game, Riku decides to shift the focus to a psychological battle. This involves using psychological tactics to confuse, distract, or unbalance your opponent. Riku can employ a range of strategies to affect Shuvi's concentration and state. These strategies can include provocations, mind games, distractions, or any other method that can negatively impact Shuvi's concentration. 6. Don't try to predict events in their entirety. Instead, manipulate situations to be in your favor and easier to predict. Riku manipulated the 16 races indirectly by directing their actions toward a more manageable sequence of events. You should accept that you can't always predict all future events with precision, as there are many variables and uncertainties in life and decision-making. Instead of trying to predict everything, focus on identifying areas or aspects of a situation that you can influence or control effectively. These may be factors that are more within your ability to change. Once you've identified the areas you can influence, work to manipulate those situations to your advantage. This involves taking deliberate and strategic actions to create more favorable conditions for yourself. By influencing the situations, you can reduce uncertainty and increase predictability in those specific areas. This allows you to have greater control over certain aspects of the situation. Make sure the situations you manipulate are aligned with your goals and objectives. This way, you can create an environment that is more conducive to achieving your goals. In conclusion, we've learned valuable lessons from Riku, such as the importance of adapting strategies when logic alone isn't sufficient, the ability to turn a losing situation into an advantage, and how reframing your opponent's perspectives can lead to an unexpected victory. Riku Dola serves as an inspirational example of leadership and strategy, and his teachings can be applied not only in the world of anime but also in real life. So, let's move forward and use these lessons to face our own challenges and achieve success in our lives.